Hello, good evening, everybody. Welcome to round number 2 of the North American Grand Prix Monday Night Open Wheel Championship, coming to you live from Brands Hatch. We have just flipped over to qualifying, and the track is hot. And I'm joined once again by my broadcast partner here on Monday nights. Yeah, there we go. Brad Maris. Brad, welcome.
Yeah, thanks, Al. 9 corners, Brands Hatch, pretty straightforward place. And look, everybody knows the place. Everybody loves the place. One of your favorites, one of my favorites. It's a good show tonight. Good tough test.
I'm gonna take a quick look at the track map for tonight's race. Very not familiar with the layout. 9 corners, a very tricky circuit. Turn 1 especially, and then sector 2, turn 6, 7, and 8. Going to be a bit of a challenge for these guys, no doubt. As you go back to live action, we'll jump on board with, let's see, I'm following Kirkbride around. Let's see if we can do a hot lap with him here on board.
Yeah, I bet we can. You know, these cars actually get around this place pretty well. I think once again another very good track and car combination like we had last week there at Kyalami. Now, a couple of news and notes: the tires should hold up a little bit better, perhaps, around this place than they were to Kyalami. We'll get into that some, but you know, these cars get away with some pretty good performance around this place also. So, pretty decent grip on offer. A pretty good straight line speed, obviously, from this Ferrari 312 as Kirkbride gets on it going into that. What is it? This is the Paddock Hill bends, right? Thereabouts, takes it all the way out wide over the curbing. Of course, not going to be a problem there. Gets away with some pretty late braking there, it has to be said. Very easy to lock it up, get in too late into that, especially in this 312. And turn number 3, I'm looking for second gear here in the higher revs, but looking pretty good. And you know how difficult the 4th turn is around here. Very difficult to get the entry right, and then to hold that apex. You got to hold that apex a little longer than you always think. Hold off on that acceleration until you get to the right point of that turn to be able to keep the throttle on it all the way off corner through that turn 5, Hawthorne, I believe this is called. And 6, let's see how much curbing Kirkbride takes. Not too much there through Hawthorne, but perhaps through turn 6 we'll see a bit more curbing. Clipping the inside. Oh yeah, quite a bit. Barely keeps it clean. And now through turn 8. Iggy up front. Little left-hander looking for third gear there. I've seen third gear, seen second gear. Hard to tell. And of course the Clark curve. Very difficult final corner to get that one right. Got to get the car in there, but let it swing out wide, but not too wide. Got to hold good momentum so you can get that good acceleration coming off.
It's a nice lap from Kirkbride around this place, and had pole momentarily eclipsed by Joe LaCour, and then not long after that, Simard goes to provisional pole with the 126.1. Joe LaCour, that lap, did not see that lap coming in practice leading up to that, so he just put one together here. 700ths off of his teammate, currently in first, Simard, carrying 20 kilograms of ballast as Joe LaCour takes it a bit wide, but keeps it together. Kirkbride continues on a hot lap up in sector 1.
Yeah, Philippe Simard showing that early time, that 26.1, of course. We saw him in that official practice session in the week of practice with a 25.6, something like that. So pretty low compared to the rest of the field in that week of practice. See if you can match that tonight.
So Kirkbride is up in the first 2 sectors, so this is looking to be a pretty good lap for him. Might move him up into provisional pole here. Kirkbride carrying 15 kilograms for the second last week. And looking like a good lap for Kirkbride.
It is.
Yeah, very good lap. 26 flat. So bumping Simard down to the second position. Joe LaCour gets it wrong. Oh, Moses just jumps into 4th. Now 6/10 off of the lead. Parsons to 5th. Quick laps for these guys. They're pulling it back into the pit lane. Houston is off track. A lot of personal best getting set. Yeah, Kevin Miller with a nice 5th place finish last week at Kyalami is currently in 8th. He qualified 9th last week, ended up getting past Moses there late in that race for his top 5. So nice performance last week from Miller. Now looking at Zach Hefner. Currently slotted into the 8th position. Part of podium hunters. Simard going green in the 1st sector. Jesse Olsen currently in 9th. Olsen straddled with a little bit of penalty weight from last week, carrying 20 kilograms. Jake Feemster in the pits. Joel Ekman, last season's competition index winner, was away on vacation, couldn't make last week's race, so tonight's his season 33 debut here. Not much seat time leading up to tonight's race for Ekman, so it'll be interesting to see how he does tonight. Currently slotted in the 12th.
It was a nice fill-in drive that he had last week there by David Zahn, who put in a nice top 10 effort for that team.
Yeah, excellent drive from Zahn for sure. Ekman does not improve, remains in 13th. Simard now resets fast lap with a 25.9, so first driver to dip into the 25s this evening. 25 minutes this qualifying session. Schubeck back in 16th. Ryan Robbins circling around in 17th, followed by Jack Ivey in 19th. Jack moves up a couple spots, up to 17th. Peter Burke back in 19th. Burke has the lap record here at Brands Hatch in the 98T, set a 105.3, but a bit off the pace. I don't know if you remember that race, Brad. He's put it on pole and he got made a bit of a mistake there at the start of the race on the opening lap and ended up.
I do.
He ended up DNFing that race.
Yeah, I do remember that.
Kind of turned around. Mascarelli back in 21st. Iggy running in 22nd. Ryan Story back in 23rd. Harry Roth, second race with us, currently in 24th. Ricker back in 25th. He's not able to set a decent lap. He had Rally trying to put in a lap. DeGraw serving a no qual, as is Alan Jacobs. So back up front. Joe LaCour went green in sector 1, but lost a little bit of time there in the 2nd sector. He is coming to the line. Is he going to be able to improve? No.
Yeah, like last week, a relatively shorter track, right? So we should expect to see those times compressed a little bit. So, once again, every 10th or 2 could make a big difference in terms of starting position. And unlike last week, actually, it's probably a little bit more important around this track. It's going to be more difficult to pass around this place and a little more danger if you're back in the field to start.
So Simard is even through the 1st sector. And gets it a bit wrong there right after the 2nd time split, sector 2. So he's going to have to go at it again. Kirkbride on an outlap. Houston, meanwhile, has jumped up to 4th. Had a nice qualifying last week. Had a pretty decent run going. And then the wheels fell off. And Houston finishing out of the points 2 laps down.
Yeah, the wheels didn't literally fall off, but you're absolutely figuratively they did after, it has to be said, quite a strategy gaffe. It turns out the best strategy option was not to take tires at all, and here Houston and teammate Ezra were thinking about going for a 2-stop strategy. Well, that wasn't quite the cat's meow.
No, I think there's certainly the strategy caught some guys off. We saw the winner, Simard, not change tires, and Joe LaCour also picked up some spots. Well, actually, he didn't. He had some issues near the end there, but it did work out for the guys who did not change tires. So you can expect some of, well, I would predict most of the field will not be changing tires in the pit stops for this race, depending on how abused they are. But you certainly lose quite a bit of time if you do change tires.
Yeah. Yeah, and I'm sorry, Al, and you're right. It is all about the abuse of the tires, right? If you don't abuse them, you've got the opportunity to hold on to them and make them last to the end.
We're going to jump on board here with John Houston.
Yeah, looks like
through turn 2.
He's got Gary Roth in front, so perhaps a bit of traffic if Gary Roth not quite matching the pace of John Houston, but
off there in sector 1. Let's skip over to Kirkbride. He had a good lap going. It looks like he might have made a mistake there through turn 7.
yeah, that Kirkbride Performance Delta just a little off of his best time, so I think you're right. He give up a little bit there with some mistake. I didn't quite catch it myself.
Bobble cost him at least 3/10 there, so he's going to have to try again. Simard, meanwhile, on board with him, last week's winner, and he is up through the second sector. These cars really are a blast to drive. You see all the corrections Simard is making with the wheel. So the other car is wanting to get away from you. Power through it. It's great. Simard does not improve. Remains with a 25.9. You see the difference in time between Simard and Kirkbride. A repeat of last week. 700ths of a second separating first and second. Jolicoeur's got a good lap going. Simard's teammate.
Yeah, he sure does, and he's got a possibility at least to advance his time here, if not better than that. A bit of a slide coming off the last corner.
Does not improve. Remains in third.
Yeah, that slide cost him. That little wiggle coming off the last corner cost him.
Matt Taylor up to 5th. Had a decent finish last week. A little outperformed by his teammate DeGraw. But finishing 7th, I believe, behind Moses. DeGraw taking 4th spot last week. I mentioned DeGraw is serving a no-call penalty here tonight, so he's going to have his work cut out for him. Trying to make his way through the field. Taylor is not going to improve. Simard is up in sector 2. As he comes to the line, this looks like it's going to be an improvement. It is. So 25.835. Keep in mind, he's carrying 20 kilograms of success ballast, so remains fastest on track.
That's exactly what I was going to mention too. Is Simard and Kirkbride? You mentioned, you know, a similar story to last week, and you're absolutely right. It is a similar story, and plus they're both carrying success ballots, so they certainly have something figured out with the car. They're certainly a bit ahead of the curve, I would say, relative to the field.
Yeah, I think we saw a little bit of that last season, especially with Parsons and Houston. It took them a little time to figure out the Jordan, and once they did, as Moses gets it a bit wrong, takes it off. But should expect some guys to come up to speed here. We also saw, you know, instances of qualifying laps being pretty impressive, but come the race, feel very tight. So. Yeah,
clearly, that is a very good point. And and this track really lends itself, this particular track lends itself to just that type of thing, because you do have to be very careful and very tidy on this track. It can catch you out very quickly, so you have to definitely stay within the bounds of grip.
Well, it looks like he could improve here. Simard resets fast lap with a 25.7. Kevin Miller does improve and jumps up to 9th, bumping Hefner back to 10th. Lemansky up to 7th. Joe LaCour up in the first sector. Jump on board with Ian. Loses some time there in sector 2. May have enough here to eclipse Joe LaCour. Kirkbride.
Well, he lost time there, but he gained time on his previous best, right? Because the lap from Simard is not quite as good before, and Joe LaCour is actually on a very good lap here, Al.
Yeah, lost it in the final sector. So down 4/10 in the final sector is Joe LaCour. Taylor struggling there in the first sector. 3/10 off, just about 8.5 minutes to go in this session. Quickly winding down. Kirkbride looking good in sector 1. Jump on board with him.
Well, he is looking good in sector 1, and still I don't see any reason why he would not be able to challenge for pole. I tell you, the driver I'm keeping my eye on is Chris Moses. It was just 15 minutes ago, Al. We saw him well and truly in the low 26s, right?
Yeah.
So he's about half second off the pace that he just showed a couple minutes ago.
Ride even to sectors 1 and 2. It's going to come down to this final sector for him. Looking pretty clean. To turn 8, the all-important turn 9. How well he can get the power down. Pretty good. Not improve. So drops 3/10 in that final sector.
Yeah, going through the week of practice times and that very stout 25.6 from Simard bested the field really by about half a second, and 3/10 is where he gained most of that time, right in the last sector. We're seeing that again here in this qualifying session too. So 3/10, boy, it's going to be tough to overcome for these guys.
With Kevin Lemansky. Tiptoeing his way through turn 7. I lost some time there for Kevin. Doesn't look like he's going to be able to improve on this lap. Simard in the pits. Oh, Kirkbride. The big snap.
Yeah,
into the wall.
Almost looked intentional. It was kind of weird. He snapped even almost before he got to the apex.
Yeah.
It's kind of weird.
Chris Moses 2/10 off in sector 1. A little bit honest there through turn 5. Sorry, turn 6. Brian Story, meanwhile, is having some issues there on track, lagging all over the place.
Yeah. Yeah. Five minutes yet to go. Ian Joe LaCour, I got a sneaky suspicion Joe LaCour's got a little something in him. I think he really thinks he can at least nip a Kirkbride here for second as this session winds down. Yeah. Yeah, well, looking really strong compared to the time he's put up already. So. Yeah, he's holding on to some decent gains so far. But it's the final sector here that everybody's been struggling relative to Simard. Oh, Jolicoeur's in for a big lap right here, Al. Can't hear you, Al.
Oop, not sure what happened there, why I went mute, but yeah, it was a great lap from Jolicoeur. Moses snapping the wheel going into turn 6 and loses some time there, 5/10, but he could pick up some spots here.
Well, this is his last
Taylor.
opportunity.
Yep. No, he does not.
Yeah, I mean, regardless of whatever happens on this lap, he's only got one more chance.
Kirkbride strong in sector 2. This is going to be close between Kirkbride and Jolicoeur. Nice exit from Kirkbride out of the final corner. Be close. Oh! Kirkbride improves his time to a 26 flat, but not enough to bump Jolicoeur to split the French Connection squad, as they are 1 and 2 at the moment. Let's see, Taylor and Moses both off in sector 1. Taylor just ahead of Moses on track. Both these laps are not going to be good enough. Bride, meanwhile, has a good first sector.
Yeah, his final opportunity, so it's always, you know, you put the pedal down, you see what happens. You know,
in sector 2, session is over. Turn 7 was very close, but it looked like it was clean.
Got to figure out the last corner. This is where he's costing him. He's gotten through here pretty well, Al.
He has. Kirkbride to the line. Oh! Not enough. So he's going to finish in 3rd. Moses and Taylor are on flyers here. Taylor a 10th off in sector 1, 2 tenths for Moses. See how Taylor does here through sectors 2 and 3. 3 tenths off for Taylor, 2 tenths off for Moses. So these two are pretty much even here through the first 2 sectors.
Yeah,
Taylor
nice.
takes it a bit wide, exiting turn 8.
Nice for Moses to have that rabbit to chase in front and help define the focus a little bit, knowing that you got a shot at a guy if you just get a little closer. closer on this qualifying lap, right?
Taylor misses out. Moses bumps Taylor at the line there, and slops up to 5th. So Philippe Simard, 2 weeks in a row, throws it on pole. His teammate's going to be started 2nd, and Kirkbride in 3rd. Pretty impressive showing there for Simard with that lap and the weight disadvantage.
Yeah, clearly. I mean, I don't know what more to say than, congratulations. So 20 kilos, not enough to slow the French-Canadian down tonight, at least in the qualifying period, but maybe just as impressive, really, is teammate Ian Jolicoeur coming through for 2nd. So the French connection now starting 1 and 2 for the race, and that's a big deal around this place because it can be, it's a difficult track to be in the middle of the pack, especially to start. Some very difficult corners. And any problems in front can catch you out completely where it's not your fault, right? So those guys really control their destiny on the start, and they can provide a little bit of protection for each other too. So congrats to them, and yeah, I mean, you don't want to pass by the 3rd place starter Kevin Kirkbride coming off that great 2nd place last week. Hey, 3rd place with 15 kilos to start tonight, you'll take that.
Yeah, it's going to be big for Kirkbride here at the start of this race. If he can try and split these 2 French Connection drivers, that'd be big for him. It's going to be tough, a tough ask here, especially going into this first corner here. Turn 1 is very tricky. This opportunity is probably going to be at turn 2. But we'll see how it goes. It's going to be very, very difficult opening lap here for these guys. Blind right-hander going into 1. You might see some guys take it wide, so it's going to be a bit dicey. And another, we got to keep an eye out for DeGrasse. Fast driver starting back there in the back because of his penalty last week, but we'll see. Anything is possible here tonight. So attrition can play a role, could benefit some of these guys starting a little further back. So we've got some time here. We got about 4 minutes or so to go. If you look on Twitch, you got a spotter's guide there. Bring it up here. Gives you an idea of the drivers and numbers, the liveries, who's in what car. So if you want to get an idea of which one of your favorite drivers is in a particular car, or you don't know who it is, there you go. You can bring it up and take a look at that spotter's guide. It's a nice thing done by Andrew Adams for us. I'm hoping he can do one for Thursday. Hint, hint. So we'll see. See if he can get that done, but he does a great job on that. So yeah, basically Brands Hatch could be the toughest test of the season here, Brad. I know Monaco coming up and the Nordschleife, but this is going to be a very, very grueling race here for 52 laps.
Yeah, well, I mean, we look to be running just over about 1 hour, like 1 hour in length or something like that, but it really is the nature of the turns and working the traffic. We're going to be getting into traffic, and it's not going to take them really all that long to do it. So there's going to be constant battles, the back and forth of making mistakes and gaps opening and closing up between your rivals, and then with the contentiousness of the lap traffic coming, and then the kind of, frankly, question marks over the strategy. Because look, all these guys, most of the front runners, nobody's going to be taking tires, but they're still going to have to come in for fuel stop, and there's some question as to when drivers are going to do that, because there's a lot of overlap in terms of tank size, how much fuel you can take. Some guys are going to be starting light and going for that early lap time advantage. Some guys are going to be backloading to save the time in the pit stops, take less fuel, right? And so there's going to be some question marks over that, and some contention as the race unfolds. It's going to be a very interesting race, this one. Key, I think, is going to be to be very careful and consistent early, right? Let the race play out a little bit, then kind of start to push a little bit when you figure out what the heck's going on. Yeah.
Not to mention the cold conditions, 8 degrees Celsius, 17 C track temperature, so it should be okay for the tires. And tailwind going into turn 1 at 13 kilometers an hour, so these guys from all the practice should know what to expect. But that tailwind could, depending on what it was in practice and in qualifying, it could have an effect here. Some of these guys going into 1, it's kind of stiff. But let's run down the starting order for tonight, Brad. What do you say?
Let's do it.
All right, well, starting for a second straight week on pole is going to be Philippe Simard. His teammate's going to be starting second. Nice lap from Ian Jolicoeur. Kevin Kirkbride in third. John Houston with a nice showing in fourth. And Chris Moses is going to start in fifth.
Part of Captain Clutch Racing, Matt Taylor starts sixth. Kevin Lekmansky takes seventh. Aaron Parsons is in eighth. Kevin Miller takes ninth. And Zach Hefner a little bit back there in 10th.
John Watson in the Purple Haze Your Dog My Face Racing car. He's going to start in 11th. Sean Ricker is going to start in 12th. Ryan Robbins in 13th. Jesse Olsen 14th. Joel Ekman's going to start in 15th. Nice showing for Joel.
Indeed it is, Al. Greg Myers takes over 16th. Thomas Schubeck's going to start 17th. Iggy Ciordia takes 18th. And Jake Feemster, he's also a bit back there, it has to be said, 19th. And Peter Burks in 20th.
Ryan Story's going to be starting in the 21st position, followed by Jack Ivey, 22nd, David Raleigh, 23rd, Mascarelli, 24th, and Traskell, 25th.
Yeah, Gary Roth takes 26th. Mark DeGraw with that penalty is going to start 27th. Alan Jacobs is going to take 28th, and it looks like it, 28. Yeah, 28 starters tonight. All right, pretty good field, Al.
Yeah, not too bad, not too shabby. But like we said, it's going to be big here going into turn one. These two, Simard's got a nice buffer with Jolicoeur behind him. But we'll see. Are these guys going to race each other if it's just them two, Brad? We'll find out here momentarily.
Yeah, yeah. Turn two. You're right. That's really where the action could take place here. They'll have to be careful.
All right, the lights are on. We're about to go green here from Brands Hatch, and we're away. Nice start from Simard, and Jolicoeur looks like he's going to rocket past them and lead the field into turn number one. Looks like most of the drivers getting through there cleanly, Brad.
Yeah, had a little something banging around on the start back there. DeGraw got caught out, so he's basically dead last.
He's exiting turn 4. Relatively clean.
Schubeck takes it off. He's going to lose some spots.
Jolicoeur out front. Kirkbride now trying to put pressure on Simard in second.
Yeah, so it's Ian Jolicoeur out to the big lead. I missed it. I was at the back. I wonder if Jolicoeur started on light tanks, Al.
Yeah, it could be. Simard looked like he bogged down a little bit at the start of the race, but Jolicoeur is going to lead the field here after lap 1. Jump on board with Kirkbride, putting some pressure on Philippe Simard. Like you mentioned earlier, this is going to be a challenging, very challenging track to overtake on. Probably your best opportunity is going to be right here or at turn 8.
Yeah. I mean, to get one done on merit. Otherwise, you're waiting for the mistake in front. And look, everybody is going to make one of those mistakes, but it's also easy to make a small mistake and still be able to recover the line in these cars to guard and/or block the line, right? I mean, that's where you can really get in trouble with these things. We kind of saw that a little bit last week of guys not driving kind of ahead of the car, if that makes sense.
On board with Sean Ricker here in 11th. Got a whole train of cars here from 9th to 12th, nose to tail. Traskell in the pits already. Not sure what happened to him. Ekman looks like he was caught out. Started 15th, back there in 27th.
Oh, boy, something happened with Moses. I looked away for a second. I was on board with him. I looked away for a second, but Moses is back in the field a little bit here after a great start, running up the 4th, and now back to 7th.
Yeah, he's got Miller all over the back of him.
Boy, he like lost it on turn 7 or something. Banged off the Armco.
Joe LaCour, ooh, big slide from Simard. McBride having a look on the inside. Meanwhile, Joe LaCour starting to rocket away, and Traskell is our first retirement of the evening.
Oh.
There's 2 straight DNFs for Traskell. These guys can have a look up here. Into turn 5, a very, very dangerous overtake attempt. McBride not close enough to make a move. Oh, as Moses takes it off into the gravel.
No.
And he is struggling. He's going to rejoin here in 13th. So we just caught that. And his tires, no doubt, will be a little hot. Greg Myers trying to take advantage.
Chris Moses just not looking comfortable at all, it has to be said. We saw that good qualifying time before a qualifying session, right? Was looking great, running a bunch of laps, low 26s, and come qualifying, and he's nowhere to be found. And then during the race, he's just going backwards. Very strange.
Zach Heffner and Kevin Lemansky side by side. We're on board with Ricker. Lemansky's going to hang on to that spot. Time being anyway. Let's see if Heffner has a look on the inside of Lemansky. Kevin Miller, meanwhile, takes the scenic route around turn 2, but does not lose much time through there. Meanwhile, Aaron Parsons has made his way up to 6th, trying to chase down Matt Taylor, but some close battles all around here, Brad. A bit of a repeat of last week.
Yeah, they're really jockeying for every position, and it's tight all the way back to 20th right now. These cars get wiggled around. It's so been a bit at the front. I mean, it doesn't seem like Joe LaCour is gaining the type of ground he did the first couple laps to Philippe Simard. So I think Philippe has settled in.
John Watson gets into the back of Jesse Olsen. Olsen takes it. Oh, and Moses gets caught up. We got a bit of a schmozzle here at turn 7. Let's see, Olsen is turned around. He is quickly falling back through the field, and he is back in 25th. So Watson looks like he's okay. Looks like entering turn 7, he might have gotten to the back, carrying a little too much speed. And who is that going off? Someone else goes off track there. I think that is Greg Myers. Yeah, that was Myers. Wow, Joe LaCour sets fast lap of the race. Moment, this last time by. Oh, now Lemansky's turned around.
No, boy.
Oh, things are starting to get a little aggressive here on lap 5 of this 52-lap race. So Lemansky is back on track and rejoins at 19th. He was in the top 10.
It's the type of track you would expect everybody to, have the potential of making a mistake, right? So you definitely want to try to minimize them, but you just got to remember, if you do happen to make one of those mistakes, you just have to keep on it, because any one of your competitors can do the same at any time.
On board with Mark DeGrasse. It looks like he might have some suspension damage. His wheel is cranked to the left as he's trying to put pressure here on Mascarelli, but he's got signs of wear and tear.
Oh yeah, he definitely does have damage. Yeah, it's too bad. Got caught in some type of fracas right on the start, so was back in the field. Of course, had the no qual, but then also had a problem, and so was held up further. but he's going to give it a go with that bent suspension.
Yeah, he makes his way past Mascarelli. Oh, and someone else takes it off. That is Brian Story, who goes off stage left. DeGraw gets past Feebster. So a bevy of action back here for, this is for the last points paying position, 16th. A bunch of guys bunched up back here. Ivy's in the mix, Story, Lemansky, Mascarelli, Alan Jacobs. Jacobs with a run on Jack. Especially in the better part of Valor there for Jacobs as he twice about making a move there on Jack going into that very treacherous turn 5. Oh, Mascarelli gets it wrong. Story gonna get by. I'm sorry, Story gets by. Jack Ivy gets past. Wow, these guys are really, really battling closely here in the back. Relatively cleanly as well. Ooh, Schubeck with a shot across the bow of Mascarelli, and Schubeck takes it off. Schubeck rejoins in the 24th position. Oh. Back up front, it is still Joe LaCour leading the way with a 1.5 second gap over Simard and Kirkbride. So these two have been really close since the start of the race. Expected Joe LaCour to stretch out that lead a little bit, Brad, after getting past, but that gap has been pretty consistent.
Yeah, stretching that lead has not happened, and that's the very same thing I've noticed. It has been Joe LaCour leading the way on fast laps, but generally a lap or two later, it's been Simard following right behind, and Kirkbride's pretty much right there too. So no drivers yet into the 26s, but all these, the front three anyway, running low 27s. I tell you, John Houston is hanging on there in 4th place. You can see these guys up ahead on the road, and teammate to John Houston, Aaron Parsons, is closing up to him. So a good feisty fight going on right now here for the top positions out.
Yeah, nice team battle, team scenario going on here after big no points result for T-Brock Dan Bam. They are currently 4th and 5th. Trying to claw back into that team championship. Kirkbride. These guys, podium hunters Hefner and Kirkbride, currently leading after last week, but Kirkbride in 3rd, Hefner back in 9th. And the French Connection 1 and 2. This could potentially be a big hit.
Yeah, it could be. I tell you, looking at the attitude of the car and kind of the way this race is unfolded, I tell you, I don't think anything is settled in this race. Simard is really having a bit of corrections here on the apex of almost every corner, certainly since I've been watching him here in the last lap. So I don't think anything's settled with these positions. Oh, speaking of which, what has happened? Because Parsons now finds himself in 4th, and Houston, where the heck is Houston back to 11th?
So Houston makes a mistake and finds himself back in 12th. Now, that's not what the doctor ordered here for T-Brock Dan Bam. This is, we finished talking about them.
Yeah, and he's certainly that would have been almost certainly on his own, right? Because his teammate was a second off of his tailpipes there, and he was a couple 3 seconds behind the guys in front. So
qualified ahead of his teammate, showing better pace than Parsons.
We've seen a bit too much of that from Houston, I have to say. You know, it's dude's going to need to clean that up a little bit here if these guys want a real shot at this championship.
Let's see if Houston can settle in here and avoid any further mistakes as he tries to make his way past, back past the field. Moses has recovered slightly here. He's back up to ninth. He's gotten around Robbins and Watson, and is now on the tail of Zach Hefner. Now Moses has put in a whole bunch of laps in practice for this one. He's feeling quite good going into it. But the wheel is kind of falling off here in this first stint.
Yeah, well, he was looking good too. He's maybe feeling good. He was also looking pretty damn good, but for some reason it just didn't quite happen. I can't relate with that at all. I don't have any idea what that feels like. But anyway, not sure on the pit strategies there, Boost Beef. All we know is that the majority of guys toward the front will not be taking tires. So
we suspect they'll be coming in around lap 26 for the most part. Looks like Ian might be a little lighter on fuel than the rest of the two guys around him, so for around lap 26 and no tire changes.
I think that this is yeah, I think that this is maybe an important point though, Al, of figuring out if we go with a lot of races without, you know, the tire change, right? It could come down a lot to is taking the heavier fuel load to start better, or is it taking the light fuel and running faster to start better, right?
Right.
This is going to be an important question I think we're going to have to answer, and we could start to figure that out tonight.
So we just saw Alan Jacobs make a nice pass there on Jack Ivy at turn 2 for 17th. So Jacobs one position out of the points. Meanwhile, DeGraw with his screwed up suspension has just put a pass on Greg Myers. And it's pretty an amazing drive here for DeGraw to be able to get around this track. At this point, he's understands what how the car is going to behave and react around these corners. He's done enough laps with the suspension the way it is that he's managing it quite well, but we'll see what happens after his pit stops and he gets it fixed.
I mean, well, that's true, right? Because it's going to be like a different car. It's absolutely ridiculous that. But yeah. I mean, you don't. The damage, you know, we aren't worried so much about the aero stuff, right? Because there's no aero on the car, right? So the bent suspension is about the main thing you have to worry about in terms of losing speed. So, but still, 33 seconds off of the lead in 13th place. You know, you take out the bent suspension. Why not?
So it looks like Kirkbride might have made a bit of a mistake. He's fallen off 4 seconds to Simard. So that's given those two guys a little bit of breathing room. Let's see if Joe Lacour and Simard can start to stretch that lead out a little bit. We're on board with Chris Moses trying to make his way around Zach Hefner for 8th. These guys are neighbors. They live very close to each other in Ohio. And it looks like Moses is going to have a run on him into this final corner. Side by side. After not giving it up easily. Moses gets the pass made for 8th.
Yeah, really well judged. Look, to be on the outside of a guy who is going for the pass on you, you frankly have to have a lot of trust to hang in there on the outside with pace. You know, in these types of cars, knowing that they're going to hold the front end and not slide up into you, right? So, pretty well judged. And I have to say, Zach Hefner, you know, had that great 3rd place finish last week. Looks a little off pace here tonight, but you know what? He's getting. It looks like to me like he's getting the maximum out of what he's you know, kind of where his pace is tonight, right? Started around that 9th position, but still hanging in strong. Some guys have been a little faster, but a lot of guys have also kind of melted and headed back at him. So I think Zach Hefner's putting a pretty damn strong run tonight.
So we got a doozy brewing here between Schubeck, Ekman. Schubeck makes the nice pass on Joel Ekman. That's for 21st. We'll jump back on board with Ekman here. Schubeck and Olsen now. Actually, the 3 of these guys running pretty close together. I think Olsen might have a little bit of damage after getting clobbered there earlier, several laps ago, but still making his way around. Been losing some time here to Schubeck down the straight. So Schubeck with a big off earlier a couple laps ago, but looks like right now Schubeck might have a little bit more pace than Olsen.
Oh, Ricker takes it wide off in turn 1, so Moses is going to slip through to the 7th spot.
Yeah, so Moses gifted a position here. Let's see, Hefner take advantage of that. Doesn't look like it. Back to this. Ooh. Schubeck gets it a little bit wrong. Into turn 9, nearly threw it off, but nice recovery. Loses a bit of time to Olsen. Now Alan Jacobs has made his way up to this fight. Forward Jacobs. Schubeck looking like he's driving a bit angry here, looking to make up some spots here.
Yeah.
Right now sets fast lap of the race with a 26.9, so times are starting to come down for Kirkbride. Let's see if he can make up some time to Simard. Continue on board here with Schubeck versus battle on track. All of that inside corner there through turn 6. 7. Whoa! A fast way through turn 7. Ooh, Iggy with a moment. So Iggy now getting involved here. Schubeck going to have enough to get past Iggy? No. So Schubeck now has got to make his way past Iggy. Iggy runs it a little bit wide. Let's see, they're going to go two abreast here into turn 1. Schubeck going to get it done? Yep. So nice pass by Schubeck on taking advantage of that mistake. Defending the inside. There's Schubeck. So nice, nice little back and forth here. Now Hefner's starting to apply some pressure on Sean Ricker as Kirkbride resets fast lap of the race. So looks like Hefner's got chomping at the bit here. Don't see him really closing up the distance on Simard. Been around 4 seconds. So last time by for Simard was a 26.9, 26.8 for Kirkbride, 27.1 for Joe LaCour.
Yeah, Simard just now dipping into the 26s himself versus a Kirkbride who's done it a lap or 2 earlier. But yeah, Simard does still seem to have the measure there in 2nd place. That gap to teammate Joe LaCour out at the front, holding, you know, pretty much dead even there. The last 10 or laps or so, 10 or 11 laps.
Right on board with Iggy. Iggy with no result last week on the DNF. Kyalami looking to redeem himself here tonight. His teammate Omar had a good run last week, finishing in the points, but not here tonight. Now Joe LaCour sets fast lap of the race. Well, these front runners really pushing the envelope here.
Yeah, and some of that's honestly just down to some of the fuel coming out of the car. But once again, it's going to be interesting to see here, and we're going to know in another 4 to 10 laps, guys start to come in. We'll see who's going to be taking short fills and who's going to be stretching out the on-track time a little bit before those stops.
You need to watch this battle here between Ricker and Hefner. Hefner's gotten close a few times, but it's really closing up on Ricker through this end of the first sector and through part of the second sector. Not so much here, but it's a little bit wrong there, so Ricker starting to pull away. Now, meanwhile, Jake Feebster has been running here in 15th, closing the gap on Greg Myers here. Jake back running in the points. So nice recovery. Oh! As he nearly takes it off, but nice recovery from Jake after starting pretty far back in the grid. Excuse me.
Yeah, I've been watching that Sean Ricker Hefner battle as well, and that one's been yo-yoing quite a bit. Turned almost identical laps last time by there at a 28 flat, and you're absolutely right. Chris Moses has really recovered here, settled down very nicely. Now beginning to turn very good laps there in the mid-27 range, and he is quickly catching up to Kevin Miller. So I think Moses is going to have a look at Kevin Miller here for that 6th spot in another couple laps.
Alan Jacobs really put the heat on Giordia. Looks like Jacobs might have a little bit better pace here. Giordia really swinging the car around a lot of these corners. They're a really shallow entry through 8. A little defensive here. Meanwhile, Schubeck and also these two are still going at it. Back in the Pabst Blue Ribbon liveried number 44. His teammate Chris Moses running in 7th.
Good. Do it.
All right, the field kind of spread out here. Meanwhile, Joe LaCour is starting to give up a little bit of time to his teammate. That gap is shrunk. 1.3 seconds. Oh, someone's off into the weeds. Who is that?
Uh-oh. Yeah, that gap. Yeah, that gap has kind of got jumbled up slightly there toward the front as they ran up on a little bit of lap traffic, the leaders, so that kind of momentarily shuffled the time just slightly for those guys.
Jake, nice pass on Greg Myers, so Jake now up to 14th. That was Brian Story taking it all way off in the weeds. I might have been muted, but not sure what happened there, but he has parked it. Now he's pulled the chute. He is gone.
Bummer.
So something may, the dam may burst here momentarily between this Olsen and Schubeck fight.
Well, it's a very easy car to defend aggressively with, because just like that, you can make a big mistake, but you can recover to the line, and you can just drive it right back into the line before a guy can, fully take advantage. So there's a lot of wiggle room for that type of defensive maneuvering. And it does look like Schubeck does. Yeah,
that was very nice.
It does look like Schubeck has slightly better speed, though, doesn't it?
It does. But again, Joe Olsen may be dealing with some damage from earlier, that incident with him and Watson, so maybe hampering his performance a little bit, but Schubeck having a look on the inside. Could get a run on him here into turn 2. Schubeck having a look. Locks him up. Oh, and Schubeck gets into the back of Olsen. They both go up. Higgy gets past. And Olsen's still trying to recover here. He is off. Schubeck looks like he's waiting for Olsen to get back past. So this is as the leaders are coming back by. That was who was that? Kirkbride.
Yeah, Jolicoeur now has fallen off.
Yeah, Jolicoeur has fallen off. He's made a mistake, and I gotta wonder if that was part of the incident with Schubeck and Olsen.
I don't know.
And Kirkbride now all over the back of Jolicoeur. So I think those guys were coming through at the time that happened. So I got to wonder if that might have got Ian caught off guard there a little bit. Yeah, made a mistake.
I don't think he would have got caught up in the actual, incident, but maybe had been kind of looking at those guys drive off track or something, made a mistake. Himself kind of threw it off track or something, but
yeah, holding it tight to turn 1. Yeah, these things don't. These things certainly do not break like modern F1 cars and GT cars. These things take a little longer to stop, so sometimes I can catch guys off a little bit.
Yeah, that's kind of the point I was trying to make. You have to drive a little bit ahead of the car. It's not as bad as some of them. Actually, it's a pretty fun car to drive. It had pretty good performance. Relatively decent inputs. Relatively responsive. But you gotta be a bit ahead of them. So that's an interesting turn of events now. There toward the front.
Jolicoeur coming up on some lap traffic. Yep, Jacobs does a nice job there letting the leaders go past.
Yeah, sure does.
Simard now with a nearly 6-second gap over his teammate Jolicoeur.
Yeah, I would say it was probably pretty important here for Ian Jolicoeur to be able to stay ahead of that Kirkbride position, right? If Kirkbride had gotten in front, of course, that might have been there the rest of the race.
I just picked up on Mark DeGras, who again is driving with a broken suspension and
up to 11th.
has just gotten past Watson for 11th. And I'm really curious to see how he's going to drive that thing after he gets it fixed, because that may throw him for a loop. If I was him, I'd just leave it broken. He's driving fine with it the way it is. Why mess it?
Well, he should be able to he can make it 30 laps. So he should definitely be coming in as soon as he possibly can, because we're not going to take tires. Why not? It's cool. I mean, it's pretty incredible. You think you'd want to come in just so you weren't stressed out having to drive that way anyway, right?
If you're new to what we're broadcasting here, this is the Monday night Open Wheel Championship North American Grand Prix. We're on board with Mark DeGras, had an incident earlier, might have made contact with the wall or somebody, we didn't see it, but he was driving with a bent suspension. As you see him go down the street, the wheel is cocked to the left. And he started from the back, and he has just worked his way now up to 11th, passing drivers with the car in this condition. This is a true sim. This is not, pole position or something like that. This is showing my age there, but this is pretty impressive what he's doing. These guys running at wheels that cost thousands of dollars, and pedals, and cockpits, and who knows what. They take it very seriously, and this is a pretty impressive drive from Watson Rod. Oh, Watson throws it off into the gravel. He recovers pretty quickly.
Yeah, so last time we checked in with DeGraw was, he was giving up 10 seconds and, well, it's about 10 laps, so about a second a lap, but nonetheless with some good suspension and working traffic too, I guess. And starting from the back, that's damn good. It is a very impressive drive, no question about it. It's damn remarkable.
Saw popping up on timing, Schubeck out of the race, so did not see what happened to him. He is out. Meanwhile, Joe LaCour, after whatever happened to him, we missed it, is recovered pretty nicely here, starting to pull away from Kirkbride. That gap was under half a second. He was right on top of him, but Joe LaCour has managed to pull away here these last few laps up to it's about the second up on Kirkbride in third. And they've closed the gap up to Simard. Simard with nearly 6-second lead over Joe LaCour. That's down to 4.5 seconds. So Simard, no doubt, dealing with some lap traffic. May have played a role here. But expect these guys, the pit window is open. So these guys should be start cycling through here momentarily.
Yeah, well, they are picking up a bit of time back on Simard, but it's really an impressive drive by the front three in general. I mean, nobody else has really been able to consistently be able to match the pace of the front three. I mean, and it hasn't even been close. I mean, it's tough to really get this type of pace on Aaron Parsons and Matt Taylor and Chris Moses. John Houston, really, for that matter, too. I mean, it's for these front three, these guys have really done, it's a pretty impressive drive, really, to take out this type of time on the rest of the field. So it's pretty remarkable.
It really is. You're following Hefner here in the 9th position. Hefner has closed up a number of times on Ricker, but just not enough to get past. We mentioned earlier, it's Brands Hatch, very difficult track to get around people on. There's only really a couple places you can have a legitimate shot at doing it. Oh, and someone is in the pits. I think that is Alan Jacobs. Yep. Simard is still out on track. Yep, Jacobs is in. So a few other guys in the pit lane as well.
Yeah, quickly going back to that Hefner-Ricker battle, I thought for sure Hefner pulled up on Ricker, I don't know, whatever it was, 10 laps ago and would get by pretty easily, but yeah, you're absolutely right, just has not happened. And these guys run in very similar pace, lap after lap at this point.
So Ricker's last lap 27.7. 28s, low 28s, high 27s, Hefner close as well. So yeah, you're right, those guys are lapping equally for the most part. Ivy in the pits. Kirkbride has now inched closer here to Joe LaCour in second. That gap has increased again between Simard and his teammate Joe LaCour in second. Past some lap cars. Alright, working lap 26. We expect these guys to dive in as a halfway point of this race.
Yeah, and if we don't, then I think we're going to see that most of these guys are thinking the heavier fuel load to start's the better way to go, saving the time on the stop.
Yeah, well, we thought Joe LaCour started light, but it doesn't appear to be the case.
Yeah, that's right. In fact,
Watson in the pits. So. Oh, some contact. That was, who was that? Kirkbride?
Yeah, as Ricker, who had a half spin, and Hefner could not avoid him.
So Ricker has rejoined. Hefner got through, but he's got Houston all over the back of him. He's going to go side by side into turn 5. And Houston backed out of it. Watt and Myers Robbins in the pits.
Yeah, Hefner has to be flat rattled. I'm sure Ricker is too, but boy, a half spin and just nowhere for Hefner to go. He was going to T-bone Ricker. There's no doubt about it.
So did they actually have contact?
Yeah.
Oh boy. So I guess the positive thing for Ricker, it's right in his pit window, I suppose. But these guys still out on track, have not come in yet. I should mention this is a very tricky pit entrance here, so this guy's going to have to get it right when it is time to come in. Ricker, meanwhile, he has come in, as has DeGrasse. So simultaneously, these guys come into the pits. Let's see if I wonder if DeGrasse gets that suspension fixed, because
yeah, he was running well. He's going to give up time if he tries to fix it, right?
Yeah, that's what he can lose quite a bit of time in getting that repair.
Yeah.
See, Ricker is away, DeGrasse's away, so jump on board with DeGrasse. His wheel is straight.
I think it is fixed, yeah. Now he's going to have to learn to drive it again, but boy, he's in some heavy traffic to start.
Tough spot here. Yeah, he comes out right in front of the leaders. Did a good job checking up for those guys, not getting in their way.
It is a difficult exit from pit lane as well, so yeah, difficult for all parties concerned when there's rejoining traffic.
Good heads up there by Joe LaCourte and Kirkbride, seeing that and adjusting to it.
Boy, that didn't take any time at all to fix, so that's interesting. You'd think a bit suspension piece would take longer than that, huh?
Evan Miller is there. That's nothing a hammer can't fix in these cars from this era.
I got you.
So Miller is in. Our front runners have yet to pit. 1 through 8 remain out on track. So what Simard decides to do here, working lap 28, and he's going to stay up. Joe LaCourte dives into the pits. So Kirkbride's going to have to put the hammer down, light on fuel here, try and get a great lap in, pick up some time on Joe LaCourte. Joe LaCourte is very quick with his pit stops. He's usually in and out pretty quickly, so saw him had a fantastic stop last week.
Yeah, he usually is.
Interesting to see where these guys slot in after stops are made. Moses stays out, so he's going to move up to 4th here. 3rd for Taylor. Joe LaCourte is away, comes out beside or behind Houston. Houston runs it just a hair wide. I'll tell you what, Houston has lost time to Zach Hefner. I don't know if that's on pace or some mistakes. Parsons has pitted, so he's away. Comes out ahead of Kevin Miller. And it looks like Simard is in. Kirkbride is 9 seconds behind Simard. Kirkbride staying out.
Yeah, I'm not sure how that gap, it opened up there over the course of 4 or 5 laps, really kind of suddenly. I'm not sure exactly how that happened. I think maybe Joe LaCourte in front had made a few mistakes, and both those guys were held up like right before Joe LaCour's stop or something like that. The gap had opened up right before that stop.
Simard is away. Very quick stop, 20 seconds. See his teammate Joe LaCour is going to come out just ahead of Chris Moses.
Ooh, 20 seconds. That was fast. Jesus.
Ooh, picks up a bunch of time on his teammate Joe LaCour. So about a 9-second gap. That what we're going to have to watch is Kirkbride and Joe LaCour. Those guys are going to be side by side here. Once Kirkbride comes in for his stop and comes back out. Oh, Moses now having a look on the inside of Simard.
Yeah, good. Could have a bit of a pace advantage at the moment with the lack of fuel weight.
Moses does have to come in for service. This is his last several laps in the 27s.
Yeah, it was a very clean entry for Simard. I was on board Philippe as he entered the pit. It was perfectly clean. But nonetheless, it was a very quick stop.
Moses into the pit. So Kirkbride and Taylor, the only other drivers not to pit. Parsons is in relation to Moses coming through the final corner, so he's should jump Moses here. He does. Kevin Miller. Okay, now quick stop for Moses, 19.9. So he should come out. Yeah, he's going to come out well ahead of Kevin Miller. We're going to keep an eye on Taylor and Moses as well, because those two will be close once Taylor decides to come in. Hello, Aqua Wolfie. Welcome.
Yeah. So Taylor taking it very deep, and that 20 seconds was for Moses was as fast as we saw by Simard a lap or two earlier. So
last 3 laps for Kirkbride in the 26s. Joe LaCour, he had his pit out, and the last lap was a 28.3.
Yeah, could be advantage Kirkbride if he, keeps it clean in the pits.
It is looking like it's going to go in Kirkbride's favor. Yeah, 32 laps deep into this first stint for Kirkbride. Has yet to make a stop. Every other car on track has stopped besides him and Taylor. 9 cars remain on the lead lap. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, several retirements so far.
Yeah, it hasn't been that bad though. It really has to be said. 3 or 4 retirements maybe, but yeah. Honestly, it's the type of track where some freak is on the start. We could have lost like 4 or 5 right there in one corner. So
let's see, Kirkbride. It looks like he's going to come in. So Kirkbride, 20 seconds up on Taylor, 29 seconds up on Simard. Factor in the in and out time. So this is going to be a fast stop for Kirkbride. Simard now reaching the final corner. Expect them to come out ahead of Kirkbride. Taylor remains out. Oh, Kirkbride's away. And Simard now goes by in turn 1.
On board with Simard is very
and
close.
Kirkbride has, wow, big lead over Joe LaCour. Joe LaCour 10 seconds behind behind Kirkbride. Has Hefner made his stop? Hefner has yet to stop.
Yeah, Hefner has not stopped. I think Joe LaCour also had a slow stop. So he may have had a little trouble getting on the pit lane or something too. But yeah, I mean, let's see. So Kirkbride stopped 6 laps later than Simard, right? And gained a good almost 3 seconds.
Well, that gap is only 2 seconds and change between Simard and Kirkbride. We saw a 9-second gap going into the pits. So
yeah.
What happened?
But I'm saying no. Well, no, I'm saying in terms of pit road time.
Gotcha.
So, yeah, the rest of it's just down to fuel weight that Simard was having to lug around. Well, Kirkbride is out there on lighter tanks.
Meanwhile, Matt Taylor remains out on track yet to pit. He's got some traffic up ahead of him.
Yeah, and so you'd expect an even bigger advantage from Matt Taylor. Of course, he wasn't quite as well positioned before his stop as Kirkbride was, but nonetheless, Taylor is in a good position to pick up another spot or two from where these pit stop cycles started at. Taylor was what, 6th, I think. Yeah.
Sorry, I don't know why the mic keeps going mute by itself. But Lemansky back in 17th is, not sure what happened to him. It's a lap down. His teammate ahead of him on track running in 13th. But Taylor, I thought the delta was 30 laps in these things, but Taylor's managing to stretch it out here pretty significantly.
Oh damn, Jay Money chiming in. Oh Jesus.
Oh boy, Jay. So Kirkbride starting to close the gap up on Simard here. That gap is starting to come down a little bit. Peter Burke in the mix here. Burke a lap down, so Burke's going to have to move out of the way here at some point. So Burke, a record holder in the open wheel class around this place, but having a bit of a tough night tonight. Back in 22nd.
I don't know that there are 2 different cars than the 98T and the Ferrari 312. I mean, there's probably 2 cars that are more different than those 2, but I mean, they're both open wheel, so I guess that's something.
John Houston, meanwhile, trying to reel in his buddy Kevin Miller. Miller continues to impress here with a 5th place finish last week. Running 8th currently.
I think if you're Miller, you're not terribly pleased with 8th. I'll be honest with you.
No, I think you're right.
Yeah, he was running up there better than that before that early mistake, which put him back a little bit. So. Yeah, I mean, it's a decent run, you take it, but I think if you're Kevin Miller, you're thinking that you should be doing a little bit better.
So the field is kind of spread out here for the time being. Ricker trying to reel in DeGraw. DeGraw, meanwhile, is finally driving a car that's pointing the right way. Last time by, we got a 27.8, 28.2. Oh, and he just throws it wide momentarily, but gathers it back. Oh, he throws it wide again. Yeah, if Ricker could take advantage here. I gotta tell you, he's running similar lap times. I think he might be a little bit slower right now than he was with a bent car.
Well, he is. He had a lot less fuel on board when he set that best lap last time, but. I think he's figuring out how to drive it with a straight wheel now. But yeah, very impressive drive. I mean, it's definitely one we'll be remembering for a while. Pretty impressive stint.
So what do we think? How far can Taylor take this?
I have no idea. I mean Hefner too, right? I've no idea. I didn't think that. I thought Moses. Well, I knew Moses was going to go at least lap 30, and I figured, well, that'd be the outside range. So I'm completely clueless. I might be able to go lap 51. I have no idea. Yeah, I know that they're going to be saving a lot of time on a fuel stop. I know that.
Yeah, Hefner is another perfect example. I didn't take him into account, but yeah, he is yet to stop as well.
Yeah, and Taylor's doing pretty well. He's not running 26s, but he's running very solid 27s pretty consistently. So there's nothing wrong with his lap times at all. The tires obviously doing okay. He's not abusing them too much. So yeah, it's why not take it as deep as possible? So
you got to give Ekman a bit of a tip of the cap here. He's a lap down, running in 14th, but like I said earlier, he's not much seat time. He missed last week's race. He's away. Came in tonight and running 14th in the points.
First race of the season. Yeah, absolutely right.
So
but we've seen.
Go ahead.
We've seen that. Yeah. We've seen that. I mean, he has good speed.
Meanwhile, Houston has shrunk that lead to Miller. These guys are really closing, tightening up here.
You know, I thought Houston was going to get a run on him in that first stint, toward the end of the first stint, but it kind of never materialized. So, you know, I'm not holding my breath this time either. I'll be honest with you.
Yeah, I could use to keep it together here.
Yeah, and really the only reason why he's this close now is because of the Ricker DeGraw fracas, or whoever hit each other when that who was chasing. He was behind and he caught up a bunch of time there when they hit each other.
Yeah, Burke dives into the pits. Late stop. Taylor maintaining just about a 9-second lead over Philippe Simard. Taylor, we assume, at some point is going to have to make a stop. It's probably going to be a very quick stop. And same with Hefner.
Yeah, Simard really starting to gain some ground on Matt Taylor now as the fuel weight burns off of Simard's machine. Kirkbride as well, obviously gaining a little bit of time too. But boy, if you're Jolicoeur, you have to be thinking what could possibly have been here, because I mean he's looking at third, and pretty well and truly third by the time these pit stops finally do cycle. So not sure what happened before that pit stop rotation, but Jolicoeur made a bit of a mistake and lost some time.
Jolicoeur, ooh, as one. Oh! Is that Jake? That is Jacobs. Gets it wrong and got into the side of Kirkbride.
Oh!
Kirkbride lost a slight amount of time, but kept it together. And it's just looks like he's trying to feel his way around the car. But it looks like he is back on pace here. Lost about a second to Simard after that. So no doubt a bit frustrating there for Kirkbride. He's just going to have to get to work here and try and claw back some of that time he lost.
Wow, so that was what, in turn one, two, turn two, something like that? Yeah, wow. Yeah, that can happen.
So working lap 39 of a scheduled 52 laps.
Yeah, just a handful to go now. They will actually begin to click off pretty quickly. It looks like Matt Taylor is finally in. Lap 40.
So watch Sean Houston. I should say, the last time we ran here, season 31. Houston took the win. Peter Burke
Oh,
got
yeah.
pole. Houston took the win. A decisive victory, 8-second win over Lemansky, who finished second, and Sam Rolfe took third.
Oh, wow.
Oh yeah, that was Rolfe's best finish here on Monday nights. So
Zach Hefner, 13.5-second stop on lap 40.
Missed that. So Hefner out of the pits, comes out ahead of Chris Moses. So Moses had passed Hefner in the first stint, but Hefner stayed out and put some solid laps down, and with that stop comes out ahead of Moses. Aha, Taylor has finally come in and comes out in fourth ahead of Parsons. So on lap, what was it, 39, lap 40?
Yeah, lap 40.
Yeah,
14.5 seconds for Taylor, 13.5 for Zach Hefner. So, yeah, that's interesting to see.
Hefner comes out glued to the back of Parsons here. This is for fifth.
Yeah, and Moses is going to be pretty, he sees those guys right in the distance as well, so it's definitely come right together for all those
battles.
Yeah.
On with Hefner.
Yeah, and given the type of first stint that Moses had, you know that he's going to be, he's actually, it's been a damn solid recovery drive since then, it has to be said. So, I'd be thinking, I've got to think he's feeling pretty racy at this point, 10 laps remaining.
Very important position here for Parsons. He does not want to lose any more points. The podium hunters, who are running second and sixth at the moment. Meanwhile, Houston's got to do his damnedest to get around Kevin Miller and pick up a little bit, a few more points on these guys. Moses now closing up quickly on these guys, so it's going to be a three-way tussle here to the end.
Yeah, didn't do a very good job of paying attention to Aaron Parsons' first sector, first stint times, but right now he's looking a little off the pace.
Ooh, Hefner having a look, got better of it. Moses throws it up quickly to these guys. Ooh, Parsons runs it a bit wide. Hefner having a look on the inside of turn 7, and he gets the pass made, we think. Moses going to take advantage as well. Lemansky's off wide, and they both get by. Looking at Parsons' car, it looks pretty clean. It doesn't look like it's off center. Yeah, Parsons is having some trouble here. 29-1 last time by 130. So I'm not sure what's going on with Parsons as he's struggling back there. Currently in 7th. Got a bit of a gap over Kevin Miller, so he should be okay in that spot. And meanwhile, Moses now trying to get that position back from Hefner. Got some lap traffic ahead. Keep an eye on the gap between first and second. That's gone up from 3 to 4.5 seconds in a lap or two. Hefner gets past Robbins. And Moses quickly throws it off into the gravel. Can he get it back together and not let Parsons pass? And ailing Aaron Parsons. Another costly mistake there from Moses. Only 9 laps to go here. Time quickly running out on Moses.
clicking on the left or right names? Wait, what? No.
What's the matter?
Oh, you can click on the left or right name. Are you kidding me? Jesus. Jesus! Oh, you're killing me.
What's...
No idea.
Are you talking about the...
Yeah, all this time. I had no idea.
On the broadcast app?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Well, now, wait a minute. How do I... Oh, God. No idea.
I think that was in the readme. All right, Rickard now closing up on DeGraw. So these guys remain their positions unchanged. DeGraw came out ahead of Rickard after stops, and Rickard inching closer to DeGraw, but...
Well, now, wait a minute. Okay, I'm clicking on the left side of the name, but now when I click on the right side of the name, all I'm getting are the first half laps.
Yeah, it doesn't list them all.
Yeah.
So meanwhile, Rickard's teammate just ahead of DeGraw on track.
Oh, you just have to click on somebody else. Okay, I got you. Okay, I'm square. I'm square. Got it.
Olsen running in 19th. Let's see if that becomes an issue here for DeGraw. If DeGraw closes up, he's going to have to let... Olsen's going to have to let DeGraw pass. Meanwhile, Houston unable to get past Kevin Miller. Miller in the 9th spot. Jacobs has called it a night. Next week we'll be in Monaco. That should be interesting around there with these cars. A 67 version of Monaco, I believe.
Yeah, it'll be a good time. Ooh, Feimster throws it off. Yeah, it's going to be a great time in these cars. I'm not. I've said it before. I'm not a fan of the vintage class cars, but I'm kind of a fan of this particular vintage car, Al.
Yeah, it is a lot of fun to drive.
Yeah,
really rewarding, for sure.
Yeah, I think that's the right term. Oh, Feimster throws it hard into the wall off the final corner.
Oh, Jake. With some
serious, barely drivable,
damage on that. It looks like he's going to pull it off track and call it a night. He does.
Oh, bummer.
So, it was a great debut last week for Feimster. He has come unglued here tonight as he has called it a night. Suspension damage. See, 46 out of 52, quickly winding down here, closing stages of the race. Does Houston have anything for Kevin Miller? This has been a great battle this whole second stint. Well, if you're Houston here, you got to try and force Miller into some kind of mistake.
Well, yeah, I mean, it hasn't happened yet, you know.
Ooh, it might have been an opportunity for Houston. Bit of a slide there for Miller. Miller hangs on to this position.
Go!
Well, the gap out front between Simard and Kirkbride now increased up to 5 seconds. Jolicoeur is third, but well behind Kirkbride. A tune of about 8 seconds. Taylor Hefner running 4th and 5th. Moses Simard sets fast lap of the race. Moses unable to close the gap up to Hefner after that mistake we saw earlier.
Yeah, this turned out to be quite the run if you're Zach Hefner. I mean, guy started 9th, 10th, something like that. Was hanging around that position the entire race. Houston continuing to put that pressure on here. It took that stint very deep, and apparently that's why he was hanging around that 9th or 10th spot. But as a result, it turned some very good laps late and saved a bunch of time in the pits, now running 5th. And that's kind of a big deal for that team, our championship-winning team at the moment, right? Look, staring at 2nd and 5th right in the face. I mean, what a team run for those guys when it looked like they could be losing a few points.
Houston having a look on the inside of Miller at the turn 1. Door not open there. Now having a look on the inside. Oh, contact! Houston and Miller.
Boy, you try it, but there just is not the grip on offer to make the dive bomb kind of work. It's not
going to stick.
There. Yeah.
Houston allows Miller back past. So a bold overtaking attempt by Houston does not transpire.
And I'm okay with that. I mean, I was okay with taking a chance there. It's yeah, I think he probably knew it wasn't going to work, but if you never ever take a penalty ever, then you just aren't trying hard enough. So, you take your chance, and they're holding positions.
I guess that's my problem on Thursday nights.
Yeah, I mean, come on. If you never, ever, ever take a penalty, you just aren't trying hard enough.
All right. Mental note.
Yeah.
I'll be sure to get one this Thursday at Donington. Hopefully you don't submit me.
I've been waiting for that.
Well, Parsons, meanwhile, let's see how he's been running here. Well, he's got it back together. He had a few laps in the 30s. I wonder if he was suffering from some kind of technical problem or whatnot. But last 4 laps in the 27th, so he's got it back on pace here. Found it a bit strange he was that far off. Simard again, so much for running conservative here at the end of the race. He resets fast lap with a 26.2. Qualifying laps here at the end of the race.
Yeah. Yeah, he's feeling it. We'll see what he feels with 40 kilos on the car next week. Look, it's only a matter of weight. I mean, eventually the cars, eventually you're going to get slowed down. So
yeah. I'll tell you what, track like Monaco, I don't think
I don't know.
Hamper the car all that much, but who knows? He's going to be the first driver to have that much weight on the car on these cars.
Yep, looking that way.
Meanwhile, Houston has, after that little fracas, has closed the gap back up to Kevin Miller slightly.
Yeah, you got to be careful on Miller too, because he will submit you if you breathe on him wrong. He's got a quick gun when it comes to the submissions.
Yeah, itchy trigger finger. Yep.
Yeah, that's what I was looking for. Yeah.
Carson's now starting to close the gap on Moses here in this winding stage of the race. Houston as well. Ooh. With Kevin Miller. In the rear of the car at John Houston trying to chase him down. Regardless of the result for Kirkbride here tonight, whether he finishes or he comes in second, it'd be a tremendous team result for podium hunters. I should maintain the lead. Joe LaCour is going to more than likely finish third, but they will pick up some points on podium hunters.
Nice
result.
I tell you something else. Here's just a situation. If Hefner, if that strategy from Hefner was as a result of qualifying like 9th or 10th, going, okay, well, that being the case, let me take a chance on a very long run and then a very short fill. That shows some real badassness, really, from that team to be able to make a strategy call like that on the fly as a result of qualifying back in 9th. Because I'm looking at Hef, I'm going, well, that's, you know, boy, not quite the result you'd want. Finished 3rd last week, but it's a hell of a maneuver to get back up into 5th. I mean, really, it's a big deal for him to be back up there for that team.
This is going to come down to the wire here between Miller and Houston. I think it's pretty clear that Houston has pace over Kevin Miller, but just cannot get around him. Cars on the lead lap, DeGraw. The last car, we should be able to hang on to that. Simard about to start the final lap of the race. Oh, Houston may get a run on Kevin Miller here into 1. I don't think he's going to be close enough. Miller taking it well wide, exiting 1. Oh, again, Houston this time makes it stick. Kevin Miller left the door open. There was a little bit of wheel-to-wheel contact there between the two, but Miller left just enough room there for Houston to throw it in there and make that pass attempt. Yeah, well, it's a good pass and a late pass. He got the job done just in the nick of time here, assuming he stays there. And, you know, important points for that team, really. So Philippe Simard on the final lap here. Another impressive showing by Simard.
Yeah, I mean, just pretty remarkable. A little lucky, but, you know, that's going to happen. You're going to get your share of luck if you put yourself in, you know, position to get it. Car goes off track just ahead of, looks like that's Ekman. Simard should come home. He has a couple corners left to go, and it's going to be back-to-back wins to start the season for Philippe Simard. Straddled with 20 kilograms of success ballast. Not an issue for him today. Simard's going to come home victorious here at Brands Hatch. Great run from Simard. Kevin Kirkbride going to come home with his second place finish here. 2 weeks in a row. And Ian Jolicoeur, is he out of fuel? Nope. He is going to take 3rd. Taylor going around the final corner for the last time. He's going to come home in 4th. Zach Hefner with a great strategy here tonight. Running it very deep into his first stint to take 5th. I see that battle between Houston and Miller still going. Moses is going to take 6th, Parsons 7th. Who's going to finish here in 8th? It looks like it's going to be John Houston. Yep, Houston's going to hang on to 8th, Miller 9th, and Marc DeGraw is going to be your final car on the lead lap. That's going to be one of the best drives of the night for DeGraw.
to make
Clearly.
it. Starting from the back to finish in the top 10 with a broken car in the first stint. Unbelievable performance here for DeGrasse. All right, well that's gonna do it. Let's bring. Let's see if we can bring our winner here into the booth. If I can find him, there he is. Philippe Simard, do you copy?
Hey guys.
Hey, congratulations! 2 weeks in a row, back-to-back wins. What a way to start the season. Throwing it on pole again this week, and your teammate Joe LaCour had a really great start. I'm gonna ask you about that. It seemed like you had maybe a little bit of a slow start there. He was able to jump ahead, but you managed to stay ahead of Kirkbride. Not sure what happened to Joe LaCour in the pits, but had a nice gap there in the second step. Was a little close there early on, but you were able to stretch it out.
Yeah, I almost jumped the start and then kind of panicked and upshifted the second. Had to get back down to first. Pretty missed the start, but unfortunately it was the end. It was P2, so no big deal. I was not pushing 100% with Kevin, not going awfully slow, but just enough to give Jan a chance to build a gap, because we don't know how much fuel everyone has. We were surprised that Kevin got pitted that late, and I think that's what got him second place.
Yeah, clearly it did seem like the late stoppers had a bit of an advantage tonight, but Ian was out front. We did not actually catch exactly what happened to flip the script and to put you out in front before stops. Can you fill us in on what happened?
Oh yeah, he just had a half spin going out the left-hander going onto the back straight, just enough to lose 6-7 seconds, and he ended up just in front of Kevin. He was able to build a tiny gap before the pit stops, but I think he overfueled in the stops, and that cost him a bunch of seconds, and he wasn't able to get back with the heavier car at the end.
Yeah, we were wondering what happened there, if he had taken tires or what, but well, thanks for filling us in on that. So the show moves on to Monaco next week. It's going to be, well, I got to ask you, how was it tonight with the weight? Did you notice any difference from last week, or?
Yeah, the car is slower, but it doesn't change fundamentally how it feels, how it behaves. You just feel it's a bit slower getting out of the corners, but as far as braking and cornering goes, you don't feel it much. You see it on the lap times. Here it was maybe 2 or 3 tenths, the 20 kilograms, but as far as feeling goes, the car is fine with the weight. It should be fine with 40 kilos at Monaco too. Maybe it's not the smartest choice to keep piling on weight. I wanted for this season really to try to keep my average weight low, but we'll see how it goes.
All right, well, congratulations again, Philippe, and good luck next week at Monaco. You try and make it 3 in a row. That would be pretty impressive if you can make it happen. But good luck, nonetheless.
I don't think that's going to happen. But thank you.
All right.
Have a good one.
All right, Brad, there you have it. Another one in the books. Pretty impressive showing there from Philippe. But, yeah, who knows what could have happened if, Ian didn't run into those issues. He was looking pretty strong. But, big win for him.
Well, I tell you, is really a lot of points when you think about it, that win. So teammate Ian Jilcor has a bit of a problem. He's able to get in front there. So there's some good points there, but being able to barely stay in front of Kevin Kirkbride, basically for the entire first stint, right? And then especially on the start, well, shoot, if Kirkbride gets in front there, Philippe Simard might not have a chance to get back in front again. And that's 6 points. That's like a lot of points right there. So it was a fortuitous night really for Philippe Simard to come away with this win. And I tell you what, you absolutely take it, especially early. I mean, who cares about the weight early? You got all kinds of time to let that play out over the course of the season, how it's going to go. Right now, you want the points.
Yeah.
So that's great. And Matt Taylor, Zach Hefner put together some great drives based on that late stop strategy, and I think honestly Zach Hefner was one of the more important drives of the night in terms of the team classification. Philippe Simard and Ian Jolicoeur, they finished first and third, so the French connection taking home massive points. But in terms of our championship leaders coming in, and what that team was able to do through strategy to pick up points was pretty remarkable. So that was pretty cool, and is a good race. T-Brock, Dam Bam, Parsons, John Houston maybe recovering a little bit there. Houston coming back up to 8th, so 7th and 8th for those guys. Yeah, hey, we're off and running to a pretty cool season 33.
Yeah, well, still 10 races to go. It's going to be a long one, so nothing set in stone yet. But, well, thanks everybody who tuned in tonight. It's going to do it for us here. We're going to be back on Thursday night with the GT cars at Donington. So join Jake and Jack for that one. Should be a good run. Until then, we'll be back next Monday night for round 3 from Monaco. So hopefully you guys can join us for that. So until then, thanks everybody for tuning in. Thanks, Brad, and have a great night.